Tavion White, a senior, 6'8". Suleiman Diakite, 6'9", set to jump it off, and we're underway here from Newark. America East basketball presented by Jersey Mike's. Binghamton with the ball first here at NJIT.
In the last couple games, they've gone with a smaller lineup instead of playing a traditional center. Have guards and forwards out there, which allow them to switch on everything defensively.
Petcash also has been hot. Last 3 games, he's been averaging a dozen per game, and a good start for the senior out of Pittsburgh who cans the triple. Binghamton swept the 2 games a year ago. Here's Sullivan. He'll try to answer from downtown. It's off the mark, and Petcash has the, rather Falko has the rebound. Falko, terrific player, does a little bit of everything here for Lavelle Sanders. This is Gibson, knocks it down. So Binghamton 2 for 2 early on.
And again, with that smaller lineup, a tough matchup from Diakite to come guard a guy out on the perimeter.
Last in the America East in 3-point field goal percentage. Binghamton came in just 296, but a good start. 2 for 2 are the Bearcats. Here's Diakite. Doubled up. Falco nearly had the steal, but knocked it out of bounds.
When a team switches on you, you're going to get some mismatches. Brian Kennedy knows that. They'll try to pound it inside.
Here's Mekhi Graham. Mentioned he's been hot. Saw Sullivan in the corner. Rotated beautifully, but Sullivan couldn't hang on to the pass. And here's a guy who, at least here locally, people are very aware of his propensity to score. At Seton Hall, scored just 1 point shy of 1,400 points and went on to have a marvelous 15-year pro career overseas.
Not just playing overseas, but also coaching over in the Czech Republic before he came to Binghamton as an assistant.
Petcash on the move, stayed patient with it, and able to get it to go. He's got a quick 5, does Dan Petcash. Sullivan will try a second time. In and out, no good. Suleiman Diakite, right man, right spot, puts it in.
Well, if they give you a gift, you got to take advantage of it. Ball fell right in his hands.
First Highlander points belong to the grad student who in his first game had an 11.9 rebound performance. So way back on November 9th of 2018 up in Vestal, and that was nearly a double-double in his NCAA debut. Ball is loose. A whistle blows, and it's going to be Highlander basketball. The foul's going to be committed by, I believe, was it Petcash or Gibson? I could see one of the hands on the referee.
I thought they were going to get Coleman on the takedown, but instead may have gotten away with one.
And it was on Gibson, so there's the first foul today. The grad student from Richmond who he profiled in the open. Teams have 2 common opponents this season. Pretty interesting. The Highlanders won in both games. Binghamton lost in both games. Here's Diakite. A rejection. Strong by Tavion White. Diakite tried to stay with it. White comes away with it. Good hustle there by Tavion White, the senior from Texas. They find Falco. And his shot is no good. Sullivan the rebound. He's off and running. Hess will spot up. It's off the mark. And Petcash another rebound. He's had a great start here tonight. Highlanders one of their first 5 and 0 for 3 from downtown. Harid, acrobatic finish for the junior Armand Harid.
And right now Diakite is a liability on the defensive end, and if he's not going to score the ball in the post, you got to get him out of there.
Kel DeGraff has played a lot of minutes here as of late. Has been able to knock down a lot of shots from beyond the perimeter. Got a career high 16 at Maine.
It's a hard ask for your center to go guard guys out on the perimeter. With that smaller lineup, Binghamton has taken advantage of that mismatch.
Coleman, a fadeaway 3, bullseye! How does he do it? Miles Coleman, from an uncompromising angle, picks up right where he left off up in Arano. Reigning player of the week has his first field goal. Reed scored a moment ago. His father, too, another local legend. part of 4 Syracuse teams that appeared in the NCAA tournament.
Now here's where Diakite, if he's got the mismatch on the other end, he's got to be able to take advantage on this end.
Stays patient, can't get it to go, a little too strong. And Falko the rebound. Gibson on the kick out. Free ball is up, but too strong. Hess fighting for the rebound, then takes an elbow, inadvertent elbow it appeared. But takes an elbow, the foul call on Hareed. And that'll be his first, and it will take us to immediate timeout. Binghamton 4 of 7 out of the gates, 2 of 3 from downtown, a 10-5 lead, just under 5 minutes in. All right. You want to take it out of the break, the main highlights, or what do you want?
Yeah, fine. We'll just we have no idea what they are, so we're just going to talk over them. So. Well, in the open, Matt, we talked about how important that win up in Orono was last weekend. You see a nice backdoor cut there. That's one of the 4 guys that scored 15 or more. So it wasn't just Miles Coleman. Well, obviously, he was involved and had a big run late in the ball game, but they spread the wealth. You see Miles Coleman able to stretch it out late, 22 points on good, productive 8 for 16 from the floor, but he also chipped in a couple of rebounds, assists, and the career high by Kel DeGraff, one of those 4 guys with 15 or more, and that's what they need. They need some additional scoring. Can't rely every night on Miles Coleman to just carry and shoulder the scoring load.
There's a look at Coleman. He's been getting help. As I mentioned earlier, Gray has scored in double figures each of his last 3 games. Has 10 or more in 3 of his last 4.
And that's without Adam shooting the ball that well in the last couple of games from beyond the 3. So that's a good sign for the Highlanders. But they do need him to start knocking down some 3s.
Coleman again off balance. Hess tried to keep it alive, or Gray rather tried to keep it alive, but it comes down to Binghamton, which leads by 10. 5 of which have come from Dan Petcash. Gibson will spot up from downtown. No good. Sullivan tried to feed it to Diakite, turns it over. Falko, who's in the top 10 in the league in thefts, was there. Meanwhile, Gray seemed to take an elbow as that was short. Petcash, and eventually the ball comes away to Sullivan, and Gray trailing the play, still wincing in a little discomfort. Coleman from 3. In and out, no good. And a good job by Gibson to hold off Diakite for the rebound. Gibson along 2. That one's off the mark as well. Diakite the rebound. So Gibson now 1 of 3 shooting. And Suleiman Diakite, a game high 3 rebounds early on. Both teams, their starters still on the floor after the media timeout. Coleman bullies his way into the lane. Tough shot as Gibson stayed with him. And Hareed gets the roll, the Baltimore native.
Well, he got himself deep into the lane. Talked about his dad, Herm Hareed, who's a terrific player at Syracuse. Also his high school coach at Lake Clifton, where they won a state championship. And he was able to just get him too deep in the lane.
Here is Hess, and Hess knocks it down. A triple.
That's what we were just talking about. After that 7 of 8 from beyond the three-point line down at South Florida, he struggled from 3 the last couple games, but he's played well, including 15 points last time out.
We noticed, too, here against UMass Lowell, they were taking the 3 away from him, and I thought he drove the ball pretty effectively against Lowell, as there's a nice dump off, and eventually White will put it up and in.
Well, you're right. You know, the scouting report's going to be run at him off that three-point line, and so that's where you got to be able to have a counter. You got to be able to put the ball to the deck and get by people. Hess has done that.
Hess would be second in the league in three-point field goal percentage. Has shot more than 4 a game, did miss 1 game, but does not yet qualify. And he's shooting it right around 45% from deep. Here's Sullivan, tripped up a little bit. And no call. The ball rebounded by the Bearcats, who are off and running with a 6-point lead. Good look down low. And White able to finish. That was a fine feed in transition.
And that's their 3rd point-blank shot at the rim. So despite playing the smaller lineup, they've been able to score right at the rim. The other side, NJIT, they haven't been able to score at the rim except the 1 ball that just was a gift that fell into Diakite's hands. Right? You'd think it'd be NJIT with Diakite that could get something going in the paint.
Hess gets the look in the corner. A little too strong. And White, who's been all over the floor here as of late, has got 4 points, a rebound, an assist, and a block. Now Petcash bullseye. He's been on fire. Petcash, more like pet money tonight. He's got a game-high 8, and he's a perfect 2 for 2 from beyond the perimeter.
Well, Bearcats getting out and running it, finish it with the 3 on the break. Flat. Diakite killing him. Sullivan killing him.
Yeah. Turnovers, sloppy play.
They're like begging for something to happen with Sullivan.
All right. Highlanders down 19-8. The Bearcats have been able to get into the paint as well as hit from beyond the perimeter.
Yeah, they've had good energy to start the game, and despite the smaller lineup, they've been able to drive the basketball inside. Not many opportunities in the paint for NJIT. That was a gift, but so far they've not been able to find many good looks. That one right there from Coleman, a tough one on the step back.
And there's your graphic right there, Rob. You were talking about that early on. You figure if anybody would have that advantage, the Highlanders playing a more traditional lineup with Binghamton going small, but that hasn't been the case.
Well, they tried to isolate too much. You know, to get those mismatches, you got to move guys. To get them to switch, you got to move the basketball cut. And now all of a sudden, as you're moving the ball, now you get those mismatches because you force them to switch.
Islanders checking Osawe, who has the ball now, from McMillan, who's also into the game for the first time, and Kel DeGraff, as they make 3 substitutions out of the timeout.
Well, good job by Osawe not to get impatient, but he did miss Hess early on who was wide open.
Gray from way downtown, shot clock violation, had to force at the buzzer. And the Bearcats getting a stop on defense.
And this switching defense is bothering NJIT so far.
John McGriff, a junior from Maryland, has checked in the game for the first time for the Bearcats, giving Tavion White a breather, and White really played well. And now the Highlanders will take out Makai Gray. Justin Anderson hasn't played a whole lot right now in the game. And
yeah,
he's guarding the basketball.
Searching for answers, searching for energy.
Pet Cash has come out with a whole lot of energy. He's got 8. And now it's Gibson. McGriff from the elbow, a little too strong. Missed everything, but an offensive rebound for Binghamton.
I think shot clock accidentally reset because I don't think it hit the rim.
No, I don't think it did either. It was wide right from our vantage point. So they'll take a look and get that figured out. But the Highlanders, again, have got to find some answers on offense, as Binghamton has been scrappy from the get-go on the defensive end.
See, shot clock was down to 6. When they missed it, shouldn't have been a reset.
You know, I mentioned earlier they had two common opponents. Sacred Heart was one of them. The Highlanders won on the road against Sacred Heart 85-75. Binghamton lost at home 75-60. And then Niagara, we saw and called that game here. Rob and I did. That was a 62-53 Highlander home win. BU played at Niagara, lost 73-67, and nearly made a great comeback in the game. Jacob Falko wound up scoring 36, which was a career high and also the top mark in the America East in the scoring department this season. That's what Falko is capable of, a guy that last year led the America East with the most games with 20 or more points. And this year has scored in double figures in 9 of his 15 games. Looks like 5 is what they're calling for.
Good job by the officials. So now if you're NJIT, you got to guard for 5 seconds, then you got to go rebound the basketball.
Head Cash may have traveled. Yep.
Spun the wheels.
So they do get a defensive stop. And it will be interesting, too, to see what Binghamton does over the next couple of years. We talked earlier about Lavelle Sanders, his ability to play, not only as a terrific college player, but overseas, to coach overseas. He's been here for 2 years as an assistant. And last year they won 12 games, which might not seem like a whole lot, but it was the highest win total they've had in 13 years.
Yeah, and they won 8 games inside the conference, went 8-10 overall, and then got to the semifinals. So certainly a very good and unexpected year. Remember, they were preseason picked to finish second to last, so they exceeded expectations, and a good first year for Sanders.
Will feed Kel DeGraff, tallest player on the court right now, but he gives it right back to the talented freshman Paul McMillan. And then a kick on Hareed, 12 on the clock. Justin Anderson, we talked about, he is another one of those new pieces for the Highlanders, as Hess can't get it to go, but Asawe, a very good offensive rebounder, gets one and puts it back in.
Well, yeah, you don't just have to take advantage of your size on post-ups. I think they've tried to almost pound it inside a little bit too much. It's out of the context of what they do sometimes. You know, sometimes you figure you got a mismatch, but if it takes you out of your regular flow of the offense, you got to bail out of there at some point.
Rob loves it. Rob loves when a guy comes in and rebounds assertively. It's been a while. I can't remember a guy who's been a more assertive rebounder here for the Highlanders than Kevin Osawe, who checks in 4th in the league in rebounding, though he comes off the bench.
Yeah, because he rebounds outside his area. You know, he doesn't get rebounds that just fall in his hand.
Hess, no. DeGraff and Osawe keep it alive. And for the second, that's not going to go. For the second consecutive possession, Osawe has had a chance, and he does come in 5th in the league in offensive rebounds as well. So he's always hounding the offensive glass. McGriff, he carried the ball, being guarded by the aforementioned grad student from Philly, Justin Anderson. Tough shot, able to finish. Miles Gibson over Kel DeGraff.
Oh, when you're hot and you're on a roll, basket looks like it's twice the size as it is.
11-point lead, the largest for the Bearcats here in the first half tonight. Offensive foul away from the basket. It's going to be on Kel DeGraff. Away from the basketball, I should clarify, as DeGraff in the lane is whistled for the infraction. That is his first, also the team's first. And another turnover, as Binghamton has forced 5 early Highlander turnovers.
Good recovery.
DeGraff coming from behind to get the rejection. His 25th career block. McMillan from 3 is off the mark. And the Highlanders' shooting woes continue. 4 of 19 and just 2 of 10 from downtown.
So if you're struggling shooting a ball, you got to go drive it. You got to get into the paint. You got to get better looks.
DeGraff, nice job walling up. Out to Falko, can't get it to go.
There's a rebound outside your area by Harid.
So the Highlanders catch a break. Harid, who played at Canisius last couple of years, kept it alive. But it will be Highlander basketball. 7:53 to go in the first half. Binghamton by 11 on ESPN+.
At Jersey Mike's, you gotta see him freshly slice your sub right in front of you. Look at that turkey. Look at that provolone. Yep, there's some things you just gotta see. Like those lovebirds over there. Or this guy, pulling off business and casual. Bizazzual. Or me, about to steal half of this guy's sub.
Huh?
You better eat it fast, because I'm coming. Sliced right in front of you. It's a Jersey Mike's thing. A sub above.
The world needs innovators, big thinkers, to build better batteries and expand our knowledge of the human brain. Cutting-edge problem solvers who can code, solve ancient puzzles, and design really cool robots. Leaders in their professions who will use their knowledge and experience to improve life across the globe. That's where Binghamton comes in.
Retirement ceremony. Well, last time out, NJIT got a big lift off the bench. Going to need it again. Last time out and came in the form of Kel DeGraff. Not only coming up with blocks, but coming up with a couple of threes. Some timely offense when they needed it. As we said, one of 4 guys with 15 or more, including a season high and a career high 16 by Kel DeGraff.
Yeah, and a moment ago we saw the block when he stayed with the play on defense. But it's really been impressive to see him the last 3 games get some more minutes, knock down the shot. He has good form on his three-point shot, as we've talked about for 5 years now. But it's finally like the guy we thought, a guy that can score 10 a game, a guy that can loosen up the defense and extend out what you're doing on the offensive end, and we're starting to see that here in year 5.
Yeah, hopefully, but to stay on the floor, he's got to be able to guard and rebound, and so far he's done that.
McMillan, Osawe, DeGraff, Anderson, and Hess stay out there for the Highlanders. Petcash, White, Harid, Falco, and McGriff for Binghamton. Here is Hess. Hasn't been able to find the range, but a 3rd offensive rebound for Osawe. The tough fadeaway goes. Kevin Osawe pounding the offensive boards.
He got the rotation and got the friendly bounce.
So he's got 4 off the bench, already a game-high 5 rebounds in just 4 minutes for Kevin Osawe. He has been a terrific 6th man. Petcash had the hot start, thought about a 3. Falko, who had an amazing game here a year ago, to McGriff, who knocks down the triple.
Well, yeah, and with Falko, it's not just about scoring a basketball, it's about assists. He averages over 3.5 per game. Nice one there.
McGriff was cold coming in. He had a really good start to his season, but he shoots very well from downtown. As DeGraff picks up contact, able to finish. Kel DeGraff, a chance at a three-point play.
A good ball movement, and then the nice ball fake by DeGraff. You know, he made a couple of shots last time out, so you show the ball, now guys are going to come at you. Good job to go find some contact and then finish it.
If nothing else, and you've seen these games throughout the years as well, Rob, if nothing else, to me, DeGraff finally looks a little bit more confident when he's on the floor in the offensive half.
Yes, and comfortable, right? I mean, sometimes that you make some shots, you get some confidence, and now you're more comfortable.
He's really picked up his free throw shooting, though not there. Came in 73%. 10-point game. The lead had ballooned to as high as 12 for Binghamton a moment ago. Here's McGriff again. That time no good, but another offensive rebound. Gibson is blocked by DeGraff. Gibson is blocked by Osawe, and he kept it alive. Petcash, no. And Osawe has rebound number 6.
And Falko again just went right around McMillan for the offensive rebound. That's a crafty veteran out there taking advantage of the freshman.
Hess has it rejected up top by Falko, but got it back. The freshman from Cincinnati, McMillan the 4th, is no good. McGriff off and running. McGriff quick with the basketball. Unselfish work to Petcash, no. And look at another
again.
Yep.
Falko.
Falko again does a little bit of everything so well. But that was an air ball and another rebound for Osawe.
Now NJIT's got to take advantage of that. You got to execute on the offensive end.
Falko was the only returning All-AE pick from a year ago and the first teamer for Binghamton in 12 years. No good for Anderson.
Not the shot that they needed or wanted. So focused on trying to throw the basketball inside. Again, you got to cut and cut and cut. And then all of a sudden now with switching all the time, then you get a real mismatch.
And how much of a toll it takes on the defense when you're moving so much. I mean, defending for the shot clock can be tiring. Taking some early shots. Osawe just collecting boards like a carpenter, like Noah before the storm. But again, they have not had an answer on the offensive end. Osawe leads them with 4 coming off the bench. McMillan working through, whittling, and gets the basket to go. A nice move by the freshman, Paul McMillan.
Yeah, and that was after a little ball movement, right? The ball went to 3 different sides on that possession. And once you do that, you make the defense move a little bit. It's a little easier to find driving lanes and find better shots.
Another point to what we're talking about, which is cutting and putting some pressure on the defense, maybe tiring them out. This is a team with a very short rotation. They don't play a whole lot of players. And just 7 guys basically in that rotation. You get them worn down a little bit by moving around on offense.
Yep, you got to make them work. You got to make them defend. You see the field goal percentages, and when you don't move the ball and when you don't get guys cutting, that's when you shoot 28%. Yet their defense has at least been solid enough to keep them in the ball game here, despite the offensive woes early on. You string a couple of stops and then get something going on the offensive end, get to the locker room, make a couple adjustments, and you're right there.
Coleman back in, Raheem Sullivan back in for the Highlanders. Last year they played twice. Both games were 11-point victories for the Bearcats. Yeah, they split. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because the road teams won.
Road teams won. Yeah, it's impossible.
Each of the matchup.
Although I'd say
that's
that the
right.
COVID year, remember they played both games
That's
at one
right.
site, but this was
Exactly.
not the COVID year, and that was a very
Big
good
finish. Tough finish. Through traffic, through contact, White able to get it on the glass.
Speaking about traffic, you look like you were directing traffic, trying to tell me. Remember,
right.
they flipped off last year. Yeah, one team won on the road, and the other team reciprocated. Another spin-rama, but this time it won't go for McMillan. How about Osawe with another offensive rebound, drawing the foul. And Kevin Osawe has come into this game with one mission: grab rebounds, and he's doing just that.
Yep, go get them. When you get those offensive rebounds, you got to convert.
Oh, he's got 9 rebounds in 8 minutes.
Yeah, look at the spin right there. Almost able to get it to go, but he pursues the basketball.
Connects on his first free throw. Been a 60% shooter, and he now leads the Highlanders with 5 points. McGriff out. And Tariq Balogun, who's from London, England, lived in Italy. Actually, born in Italy, I beg your pardon, it's reverse. Born in Italy, then grew up in England until coming to the States as a sophomore. Actually played for Highlanders assistant coach Danny Manuel at the Miller School of Albemarle. It's in Virginia. Inside of 4. This is Matt Solomon, a sophomore who's also checked in, hasn't played a ton of minutes this season. Shot clock down to 5. Falko draws the defense, then kicks it over, and a finish by Balogun on a play set up by Falko.
Yeah, set up by Falko because he just keeps going by McMillan anytime he wants into the paint.
Beautiful dish. Balogun hadn't scored in his prior 2 games. He was 0 for 7 from the floor. So that'll help his confidence up.
Millen's got a mismatch.
Osawe with 4 on the clock has to launch. DeGraff tried to keep it alive. Balogun the rebound, and the Highlanders now 7 of 27 from the floor. 10-point game, most scoring affair here at the WEC. Petcash. It's cooled off a little bit after that torrid start, and Sullivan the rebound. Miles Coleman has 3 points, has attempted 4 shots, none in a while. Osawe working on Balogun, bullseye. Beautiful play to get that thing to fall at a time the Highlanders needed offense.
Yeah, just a little isolation, able to rise up and get it to go.
Osawe leads the team with 3 double-doubles. He's en route here, 6 points and 9 rebounds in 9 minutes today. Very athletic player to bring off the bench. A grad student who played at Arkansas Little Rock most recently.
All 3 of those double-doubles have come here at the WEC.
Balogun and DeGraff. And DeGraff got a piece of the ball, but perhaps a piece of the body, a whistle and a foul on the big man. So we'll take a timeout. When we get back, Balogun will go to the free throw line after the second foul by DeGraff, with Binghamton leading by 8.
All you.
Raheem Sullivan's 0 for 3 with more turnovers and points tonight.
That's all you. It's all you.
Highlanders and Bearcats, game 3 of the America East Conference schedule. Second home game for the Highlanders right now. The Bearcats, who come in trying to snap a 3-game skid, have an 8-point lead, trying to keep that ironic stat of the 6 games in the Division I all-time series between the two teams won by the road team. But Highlanders need some more support at home, and you can get your tickets to help out by going to NJITtix.com. The women, the men, we're now in America East Conference play, so the game's carrying much more significance. Come out and support your Highlanders. Rob, basketball's a funny game, right? The Highlanders have 20 points with 1:48 to go in the half after a 91-point performance in a victory at Maine, which was the most since a CIT tournament first-round win against Quinnipiac back here on March 18th of 2019. So go figure the juxtapositioning of those two games.
Well, it's been the switching man-to-man defense of Binghamton that's got them stagnant. I think they again, trying to take advantage of those mismatches inside, just kind of bogged them down offensively, and they haven't gotten out of that maze so far.
Balogun had only attempted, I take that back, he had been 64% from the line, and he goes 2 for 2. He's come off the bench, and he has scored 3 points. Lead 10 as Coleman fights his way through to the basket and picks up contact and a foul. It's going to go against Balogun. Balogun most recently had a season at Eastern Kentucky before coming here.
Like a heat-seeking missile right there, just looking for contact. Puts pressure on the officials.
I wonder with Balogun, if you are born in Italy, grow up in England, and find your way first in Albemarle, which is in central Virginia, but then Eastern Kentucky, the reaction to the accents. Hard enough to pick up all the nuances of the language. And Coleman, 1 of 2. It's a 9-point game. He's got 4 points. And here is McGriff bringing up the basketball, a kid that spent his first collegiate season at St. John's. Played sparingly before coming here last year, being a main player and a starter for then first-year head coach Lavelle Sanders. Now, of course, in his second year. Sullivan, no good. Rebounded by Coleman. And with 1 minute to go in the first half, the Highlanders will try to get it a little closer. They've been down between 9 and 12 the last 5 or 10 minutes. Diakite using the size. Balogun infracted in some way, maybe got a piece of the basketball and then came away with the rebound. Good defense.
That time against Balogun, he doesn't have the advantage of the size. So when he has a smaller guy on him, he kicks it right back out. Now he's got a bigger guy and forces it up.
McGriff and Sullivan battling up top. Petcash catches and fires and knocks it down. Petcash in double figures, he's got 11. 3 of his 5 attempts from downtown have found the bottom of the net. Sullivan works through, rejected. That's Tavion White who throws the shot with just under 4 seconds to go in the half.
A great defensive rotation, and Sullivan gets there a lot. Gets to the rim, doesn't often finish when he does.
8th block of the year for Tavion White. He's also traveled around a little bit.
Well, they had Osawe, they just didn't put it up to him.
Gray has to hurry, gets rejected again, this time Balogun. Back-to-back rejections for the Bearcats, and that lead stays in double figures here at the half. 11 for Petcash leading the way. Meanwhile, I was able to catch up with assistant coach Danny Manuel. We'll talk a little bit about the Highlanders and getting into rhythm with a couple of conference games, hoping to keep that going. And then we'll look at the highlights and the stats here at the half. But right now, it's been all Binghamton, 33-21 after 20 minutes of play here from Newark on ESPN+. Matt Province here with you on the Highlander Sports Network, and privileged right now to Matt Province here with you on the Highlander Sports Network, and privileged right now to have men's basketball assistant coach Danny Manuel with us. Danny, first of all, Matt Province here with you on the Highlander Sports Network, and privileged right now to have men's basketball assistant coach Danny Manuel with us. Danny, first of all, congratulations. First conference win up at Maine, a good one, and you guys are 1-1 in the early going.
Thank you. Yeah, it was huge, especially to come back and show some resiliency after the first conference game. Didn't end in our favor. We've been playing well in both of them so far, and non-conference, had some was a bumpy road, but we knew. If we could get through that and get the conference play and the guys came together, we had a lot of transfers. They're starting to gel together and starting to play well.
Yeah, that really is like one of the enigmas about this team, right? Like, what are the Highlanders right now? You had the early season, but trying to get the pieces together and find the rotations, et cetera. You had, in theory, could almost be 2-0 in conference play. As a coaching staff, what's kind of the process of getting these pieces to come together when it matters most, which is conference play?
Well, it's just, especially early in the year and so many new guys coming in, it's just sticking with it every day. It's not, Rome wasn't built in a day, right? And a team doesn't come together in a day or a month or 2-3 months. But it seems like maybe the light bulb's gone off, and we've played well throughout the games. We need to really concentrate on finishing the games. And, as a staff, we've talked to the guys a lot more about that lately. But, continuing to stay confident, believing in each other. And now they've been, through the ringer with each other, a certain number of times. So there's a little more familiarity and comfortability there with each other. So, hopefully it continues to compound on itself.
Yeah, aside from the chemistry and gelling together, what specifically on the court have you seen that has been better the last couple of games and maybe gives you a lot of optimism that the road will continue to go upward for this team?
Well, we've really started to score the ball a lot better as of late. Even in the non-conference, you're playing pretty good defense, and losing some games where the other team was scoring in the 50s can be demoralizing. But the guys have really, I think, a belief in each other. When you take better shots, we're going to make more of them, right? And so if you just trust your teammate, pass to the open guy, and just play a better brand of basketball on that end, it breeds success.
And you guys have been able to get other players involved. I think this goes to your point. All of a sudden now, after a few games, they realize that Adam Hess can really help you from beyond the arc. Lately, it's been Kel DeGraff. So I want to start with Kel DeGraff because he's been here for so long. He's had a myriad of injuries. What's making him the player that we kind of thought we were getting 5 years ago, and why do you see him being so successful here as of late?
Well, Kel kind of encompasses what an NJIT kid is. He's tremendous off the floor, in the classroom, in the community, and worked hard every day, just wasn't maybe seeing his results on game day. And, kind of with like the Highlander way, you just keep plugging away, and just because it's not going your way doesn't mean you quit. You keep working harder. And Kel's done that, and, now he's really gotten an opportunity as of late, and has really grasped it. Had his career high 16 points up there and brings another asset to the team. And he can stretch the floor. Now other guys' lives are a little easier because he's making shots and pulling their big guy away from the basket. So not just good for him, but good for everybody. And so I think the other guys see that, and hopefully we'll keep going to Cal.
And he's a homegrown guy, as is the guy that he sometimes rotates in and out with, Souleymane Diakite. But with a team that has so many parts and a lot of grad students, you don't have a lot of guys who have come through the program. Junior year is a big year for a guy. Makai Gray has shown you the glimpses of being a prolific player at this level in the America East. We're seeing it, I think, more consistently now, the last handful of games and early on. What can Makai Gray be for this team?
Makai Gray is absolutely our best defender, and I tell Makai Gray every day his goal when he wakes up in the morning should be the best defender in the league. He wants to guard the other team's best player, and then he's also really come into himself offensively, figuring out what he's good at and what he's not good at, and playing off of those strengths and contributing a lot more on both ends of the floor. And another kid that's an NJIT kid, just a beautiful smile. He's great off the court, does really well in the classroom. People really like him around campus. So, as long as we can keep bringing those guys here, I think success will blossom.
Yeah, and you look at the way he's been playing, he has been blossoming. He brought in some other pieces, guys like Osawe has kind of found his role on the bench, so to speak. So I see the pieces all coming together, but I know you're 99% wired basketball. We're starting NFL playoffs here. We got a local team that's in the tournament. Who do you like? Give me your prediction for the Super Bowl this season.
When you get in the car and you come to work or you go home, all you hear about is the G-men, the G-men, the G-men,
which isn't
right?
a bad thing.
And they're playing really well this year. I do like football. Daniel Jones showing a lot more savvy this year. The offensive line has been better, and Daboll's got the culture up there. Like, there's like 20 million people up here ready to put a Giant jersey on this weekend and go fight for Daboll. So. He's changed the culture and the whole aura of North Jersey football right now. So maybe the Giants can get it done.
What a guy. I knew I liked this guy. I'll tell you what, I'll sacrifice a Super Bowl, which, again, is a pipe dream at this point, for a conference championship. So go get him and keep the progression, right?
Thanks, man.
All right. This is Dan Emanuel, of course, assistant men's basketball coach. I'm Matt Province, and thanks for watching this production of the Highlander Sports Network. Binghamton, as we're almost set for half number 2. Still some time to go in our halftime show, and why not look at what transpired in the first 20 minutes. A lot of Bearcats, a lot of balanced scoring from the team coming down from Binghamton here in the first meeting of 2 between the two teams.
Well, they had energy right from the start. We talked about how important Jacob Falko is. He was involved in most of their offensive possessions. Wasn't necessarily scoring it, but you see on each of those first couple of highlights distributing the basketball. Binghamton shared it all the way around. Good solid defense as well. And their defense really bothered NJIT, right? The switching defense got NJIT trying to force some stuff, trying to isolate and go one-on-one. Yeah, every once in a while you're going to make a shot, but it's been hard sledding offensively for the Highlanders there in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, they really didn't have a whole lot of good looks. You saw a couple on the screen a moment ago. Osawe came off the bench, had 9 rebounds, and of those 9 rebounds, he was able to grab 4 offensive rebounds, which led to 4 of his points. But aside from Osawe, not a whole lot. You mentioned Falco. He hasn't scored, but he's got 7 assists already. So as you pointed out during the highlights, he finds a way to be a major contributor night in, night out, and the shooting not splendid for Binghamton, but certainly enough to get it done.
A lot better than NJIT's, that's for sure. NJIT just 2 of 12 from beyond the three-point line and can't get anything going offensively no matter where they are. Just 25% from the floor. That's not going to get it done. Their defense held them in there. They were single digits most of the first half. Binghamton in the last 4 minutes stretched it from the 8-point lead to 12. NJIT's got to make adjustments here in the second half. What's the news and notes say? Can you pop that up in the monitor? Okay. And then do you have out-of-town scoreboard after that, or? Got it. I'll grab that.
I mean, it is possessive. Can I put some mojo on that ball? Just about ready for action in the second half. Some news and notes from around the America East.
Yeah, pretty balanced right off the bat. 8 of the 9 teams have at least 1 win as well as 1 loss. So it's been balanced all around. UMBC has won 8 of their last 10 games. Talked about non-conference, posting those 3 wins over ACC teams. And in a good matchup tonight against 2 teams that you figure are going to be at the top of the league. And so far, UMass Lowell holding serve on their home court. This will be back-to-back losses for Vermont after they get off to a good start with wins against Bryant as well as UMBC.
Just about ready here, and our leading scorer, Dan Petcash, with 11 points. And Sawe with 8 leads the Highlanders. Petcash is 3 of 6 from downtown. The Highlanders as a team, 2 of 12
Yeah, he's 3 of 6. He just had 10 made threes coming in on the whole season. But he's had a couple of good wide open looks.
A lot of that, as we've talked about, distribution from Falko with his 7 assists. Same starting 5 for the Highlanders as Diakite goes strong into the lane, and Rob Kennedy's got a smile on his face.
Yeah, they went 4 out, 1 in, and so you're going to pound it, but then you got to deliver. Diakite did. Quick turn, quick jump stop, not thinking about things, able to score over top.
He's got 4 points on 2 of 5 shooting. Petcash has knocked down his 4th triple.
Again, we just said he had 10 threes the whole season coming in. Sometimes when you make your first 1 or 2, as we said, that basket gets big.
And I mentioned about Petcash coming in hot, averaging a dozen over his last 3. For the year, he's at 7.3. Included in that run was a season-high 22 at Bryant on New Year's Eve day. So certainly peaking right now offensively. Meanwhile, the foul is going to be on Tavion White. And that is his first personal foul here this evening. Hess in the corner, gets the look, bullseye. Adam Hess knocks it down.
They were able to sneak one right there off the baseline out of bounds.
Raheem Sullivan.
He can't be that wide open.
he had his head looking one way, saw the defender out of the back of his head leave a step or two from Hess, and got it to him. There's a nice feed inside and a thunderous flush in the hands of Tavion White through the rim. White now for the game has 8.
You're going to try to double that. You got to have defensive rotation on the backside. There was none.
Sullivan, no. Petcash the rebound. Suleiman Diakite read that all the way, gets the steal. Good look ahead to Hess. He gets the catch, the shoot, and it's good. Beautiful play on the feed right there.
Yeah, good feed ahead by Coleman. Got enough air under it so that Hess could just run right in stride, catch, and finish.
Yeah, he had heavy pursuit behind him, so if he had to wait just a second, it would have been rejected or maybe foul, who knows. But executed well. Hess now has 8, tied with Osawe for the team lead. And another turnover. Makai Gray coming down, 4-on-1, dunks it over the defense over Harid. Oh, a thunderous play there from Makai Gray. But then teed up afterwards. Let's take a look. Talk about liftoff.
Well, he got fouled. I mean, you know, see right there, he does the tap on the head. That gets him the tee.
Well,
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the FAA has had a whole lot of problems here, well documented the last couple of weeks, and Makai Gray showing no problem with takeoff, but the landing was the issue.
Landing, I mean, he comes up, but he got
fouled. Yeah.
He got fouled, right? That's an and one. It's a heck of a lot more closer to the right calls an and one than it is basket and technical foul.
Yeah, they missed that one as Petcash able to connect on two.
They missed the kick, too, that allowed that to get out on the fast break. So, you know.
Basketball guys evening things up. 2 for you,
exactly.
2 for them. Let's continue playing basketball. And it's not a happy look from Brian Kennedy.
No, because, you know, that's the kind of play that can get your team ignited. You can kind of play off that. And
they were ignited. I mean, it was a thunderous dunk. Plenty of liftoff from Gray. Posterizes a very good defender in Harid. And really, it's all in the wash right now. Falko looking for his first points. Got him. Matching the number on his jersey. A triple for Jacob Falko.
That's the thing. He does so many things. To mention the only returning player on last year's first team all-conference here in the America East.
Think about this, Rob. 2 buckets off transition, off steals off transition, and yet the lead had ballooned to a game-high 13 a moment ago on the triple by Falko, stopped for the time being by Diakite's 3rd field goal.
That's because they got to get stops at this end.
Falko, wild pass. Coleman hounding, getting close to fouling. Petcash was able to
I think he got closer than that. I think he actually did foul him, but play on.
Kick, it'll be Binghamton ball. Shot clock resets back to 20 as Brian Kennedy shouts out to his defense. Reed spinning on Hess. Beautiful finger roll off the window, and well done by Armand Harid.
Putting him right in that spin cycle.
Is that how Herm finished?
Well, Herm was a little bigger, but
with a nickname
he liked
of
that
Tree,
one.
yeah.
Yeah. But it's almost like bully ball in a different way, just driving them so deep in the paint that there's nothing they can do.
The whistle after the flop, Brian Kennedy is livid. A late whistle. Diakite is putting his case. It didn't appear they were going to make a call on the initial contact.
Well, he says it's arm off, but you'll see on the replay
we'll
that was not the case.
Let's see, here we go. Get a good look right here.
The officials just absolutely missed that one. He just fell down.
Wow.
Absolutely goaded him into that one.
Oh, there's an acting job right there. Good one. Tough break for the Highlanders. They get it right back. Again, the basketball gods trying to even things out in this game, at least here in this crazy start to the second half. And the Highlanders do get it back, though, with one more foul on Diakite. Hess from three. Bullseye! Hess getting hot, and the Highlanders have cut it back to 10. Hess in double figures with 11. He's now 3 of 7 from downtown. Now Falko will try and answer. No. Coleman a box out.
Well, Coleman didn't realize that his man went to go double. If he turned back to the ball, he would have had an open.
Coleman off the window. That's a backyard move right there.
Yeah, but the key is off the window. You're off balance. Put it on the glass. Give it a chance.
Highlanders have cut it to 8, and aside from the 2 technical free throws and then the eventual make by Falco, have played with a little bit more energy here in the second half, and they need to.
Yeah.
Or else this one could have spiraled out of hand.
Good call. They've had more energy.
Tough shot. Harid knocks it down. Armand Harid with an answer.
Harid has had Hess's number.
He came in last 3 games shooting 50% and averaging nearly 19 points a game. This time it's going to be a block, drawing the ire of Harid.
And the problem for NJIT is they can't keep trading baskets. They got to get some stops going. Playing with more energy, playing better offensively, but Binghamton still with the double-digit lead.
Is now the leader in career points.
Eleanor Purrias with her first title at the mile distance.
Sorrentine from the parking lot. And the Black Bears have upset Stanford. Shock and awe. In college basketball, UNBC makes history.
At Jersey Mike's, you gotta see him freshly slice your sub right in front of you. Look at that turkey. Look at that provolone. Yep, there's some things you just gotta see. Like those lovebirds over there. Or this guy, pulling off business and casual. Bizazzual. Or me, about to steal half of this guy's sub.
Huh?
You better eat it fast, because I'm coming. Sliced right in front of you. It's a Jersey Mike's thing. A sub above.
The world needs innovators, big thinkers, to build better batteries and expand our knowledge of the human brain. Cutting-edge problem solvers who can code, solve ancient puzzles, and design really cool robots. Leaders in their professions who will use their knowledge and experience to improve life across the globe. That's where Binghamton comes in.
Islanders starting to heat up a little bit. Hess has now connected on 3 triples today. He's 3 of 7. Came in shooting very well behind the arc. As you can see him knock down back-to-back attempts. He's at 44.1%. Sullivan there, terrific bait job on the inbounds play, which set up one of those 3 triples. And Hess scoring. And as Rob said, now they need the defense on the other end because Binghamton will be happy to trade baskets.
Yeah, they've been better offensively, but defensively they've got to start stringing together some stops. For as well as they've played, more energy, making some shots, still a double-digit deficit.
McGriff has come in for Binghamton. He's been running point as a backup in a backup capacity. Diakite, beautiful feed to Osawa. That's a nice job by Diakite.
Yeah. Nice job coming out of the timeout to be able to get the isolation. Diakite diving down the lane, but as they ran the double at him, he had the answer with the good feed.
Osawa continues to be a huge spark off that Brian Kennedy bench. And an answer with a triple Miles Gibson.
He's not off the bench, but he's been the answer. You know, when they suck in defensively off of him, he's been able to step out and make threes. Again, the guy who shoots it at 22% on the season coming in.
Diakite kept it alive. Yeah, Petcash has been on fire. Here's Coleman, no good. And now Petcash on the other end grabs the rebound. And I tell you, Dan Petcash has been really enjoying playing here, and Gibson has as well. That time Gibson misfires. And a tie up, it'll stay here with Binghamton. Osawa with 10 points and nine rebounds, 1 rebound away from a double-double. McGriff, after Sullivan fell down, can't connect. Now Diakite got the rebound, but again, you saw how Osawa was pursuing the basketball. Rob talks about that all the time on these broadcasts, his ability to go hard at it off the glass.
Diakite posting hard, demanding the basketball in the paint.
Sullivan to the corner, good save by Hess. Shot clock down to 5, Diakite. You know, Diakite, who will go to the free throw line. Diakite, when he got called for the offensive foul on what appeared to be a flop, has played angry. And that's not a bad thing.
They should go look at that one. I'm telling you what, if they looked at that, that could have been a flagrant one. They didn't make a play on the basketball and pulled them down. I'm surprised. NJIT bench didn't ask him to go look at it. I tell you what, that one would have been close.
Diakite has only shot 42% from the line, so a big first make here at a time that they can ill afford to pass up on free points. It's 1 of 2. Suleiman 7 points and 5 rebounds in 17 minutes tonight. Sullivan hounding McGriff. Good defense by Osawa on Gibson.
Yep, held his ground.
Out to McGriff. He connects at a high rate. Not here. Osawa, double-double number 4.
One of their better defensive possessions all the way around.
Can they get it back to 7, maybe 6? Yes, a chance at a three-point play. Miles Coleman. At the time when they need to rely on their leading scorer, Coleman hits a big basket from traffic.
Well, it started at the other end with a good defensive possession, and then Coleman able to fight through contact. Just like that, an opportunity to cut the lead back down to 6.
You wonder what a tough guard Coleman is, because he can step back and knock down a 3. He's so physical on his drives, and for a guy that seems to be moving not necessarily at light speed, does have some shiftiness to him.
Yeah. He doesn't get there faster than everybody, but he gets where he wants, which that at times is the most important thing.
Tough guard. And even there, it kind of hung in the air long enough to adjust, squared up to the basket, and with the one hand was able to knock it home.
Well, the officials doing everything, mopping the floor. If there was a crowd, you might have heard a roar for the official getting out there cleaning the floor. Tell you what, Islanders got it down to 6. They've had last possession was their best defensive possession of the game. See if they could stack a couple together.
And it came with Osawa coming into the game, guarding the very difficult Miles Gibson. He gets picked off here. Sullivan on the help, and the Highlanders catch a break as it's out of bounds off of Falko. If nothing else, they have certainly picked up the play defensively. I mean, they were a little sluggish in the first half. You saw all the open looks from Petcash on the replays, and here some help defense there. Sullivan came out after Gibson picked off Osawa. Now a chance to get into uncharted territory since about 10 minutes into the game. Long time since the Highlanders have been within 2 possessions as it is now. Coleman to make it a 1-possession game. Got it! Miles Coleman heating up.
Well, a couple of stops defensively get him some energy, and then you make a couple of shots, and a game change.
Again, it's a Binghamton team that runs a very short rotation. See what kind of juice they have coming down the stretch right here. It's going to be a foul on Sullivan, fouling McGriff. And that'll get us to immediate timeout. Highlanders were down 45-32. It's been a big run, 14-3 run for the Highlanders.
Do we know what the officials are looking at over there? Probably looking to see if Miles' shot was a 3. That's my guess. Thanks. That was definitely 3. That was way deeper than that, so. Yeah, his was way deep. I don't know.
Highlanders have made it a game. First half, or I should say the second half, was still Binghamton as they built the lead up to 13 points, whittling through, hitting some jump shots. But the Highlanders, it kind of stoked the Highlanders. They had a beautiful dunk, but then there was a technical foul. There was a call on Suleiman Diakite that looked highly questionable, and the Highlanders have really rallied since. And a lot of it has been Miles Coleman, who is now up to 12 points for the game, 4 of 9 shooting, 2 of 4 from downtown. And after really an abysmal first half shooting from any dimensions, from any distance, you see the Highlanders from deep have been much better here in the second half at 3 for 5 after going 3 for 12 in the first half. So 2 for 12, even worse. But they've really picked it up. It's a 14-4 run, Bearcat basketball.
Deep by Hess to keep it out of Falco's hands.
Balogun has entered the game. He was good off the bench. May have shuffled his feet there.
No, jump,
looked
skip.
like he jumped, and no
he might have
call.
gotten bumped, but.
Balogun very efficient, 3 for 3 now, or I should say 2 for 2 with 2 free throws. He's perfect on anything he's put forth towards the rim today.
Good
Coleman wants
pass.
it.
Oh, not going to get away with that one. Good extra pass to Coleman.
Coleman made an extra pass to Coleman.
Now they got to step right back up and get a stop, though.
Five-point game. Highlanders try to make it 3 wins in their last 4 outings as Hess reaches in there on Falko.
Yep, that's an easy one. You want to get up and put pressure on the ball, but you also want to play without fouling.
Lavelle Sanders. Yes, tough assignment right here on Falco. Stays with him. And there's a nice solid rebound by Diakite as the Highlanders do get that stop. Sullivan, a wild pass out of bounds off of NJIT. And boy,
yeah,
Hess
what's
was
he
in the
going to do
corner.
if he catches it? You know, good job to probe and all, but what's he going to do if he catches it? He's running out to the corner.
I thought Sullivan was coming into the paint to get an extra step free for Hess, and instead he saw Osawe flash and threw it there, but Hess was open on the wing, and we've seen he's already knocked down a couple of three-point field goals here in half number 2. Decided not to go that way, and as a result, turned the ball over. McGriff working on Sullivan. Got trapped and turned it over.
Great D by Diakite.
Hess puts it to the deck, and Hess goes up, and there was a whistle on the Hess shot. He was hit on the arm. Osawe fouled up, and he had another offensive rebound and potentially 2 more points to add to his double-double, but instead, Hess went to the free throw line. But see, that's what he does. Once he starts hitting threes and they overcommit, he's been able to put it to the deck and work for easy shots, and there, worked his way to the basket and drew the foul. We'll take a break. Highlanders trying to carve away, down by 5 with 10:25 to go.
At Jersey Mike's, you gotta see him freshly slice your sub right in front of you. Look at that turkey. Look at that provolone. Yep, there's some things you just gotta see. Like those lovebirds over there. Or this guy, pulling off business and casual. Bizazzual. Or me, about to steal half of this guy's sub.
Huh?
You better eat it fast, because I'm coming. Sliced right in front of you. It's a Jersey Mike's thing. A sub above.
Lyle Thompson is now the leader in career points.
Eleanor Purrier with her first title at the mile distance.
Sorrentine from the parking lot. And the Black Bears have upset Stanford. Shock and awe. In college basketball, UNBC makes history.
All right, back here in Newark, and Rob's going to have some updates for us on the scoreboard. You can see there a lot of parity other than Maine, which fell to 0-2 at the hands of the Highlanders. But as we learned earlier, 8 of the 9 teams have at least 1 loss and at least 1 win.
Good balance, and right now UMass Lowell with the solid win at home against Vermont earlier today. So UMass Lowell temporarily up into first place at 3-1. Vermont drops down to 2-2. But we've seen good balance throughout here in the first week and a half of America East play.
Of course, Rob warned me of the coulda, shoulda, woulda game, because every team will have the game that they could have had and should have had, etc. But you go back to the game here, the Highlanders leading UMass Lowell in the America East opener by 10 with 3:40 to go. If that was the case, and the Highlanders right now would be sitting at 2-0 atop the America East very early on. But they have work to do to try to avoid a second loss down, 5 here at home to Binghamton, in an all-time series that has been dominated, all 6 wins in the series, by the road team. Hess now with 12, tied with Coleman for the team lead. He's had a very nice second half after some shooting woes in the first half, but shooters will shoot, and a guy like Hess can get hot at any minute, shooting right around 45% from downtown for the year. You need a guy like that to stretch that defense. And here he makes it a 1-possession game again. Gibson, Hareed, Falko, McGriff, and Balogun on the floor for the Bearcats.
Hess again keeping the ball out of Falco's hands.
Sullivan works through the screen. It's no good. Rebound number 12 for Osawe. Another stop defensively for the Highlanders.
Yeah, their defense has been much better the last 5-6 minutes here in the second half.
Sawe to the baseline, gets 2 in the air and finishes right over. He's had one heck of a game today. 12 and 12 for Osawe.
Yeah, aggressive, attacking the rim just like he's attacking those rebounds.
1-point game for the Highlanders, who have never led here this evening. Remember, it started 6-0, I believe, Bearcats. Step back, no good. Coleman a rebound. Here's Osawe. Shifty in transition, got away with an extra step and called for the travel. Kai Gray, who has been a very good defensive player for this team, has been out for a while since the emphatic slam, but the technical.
Tell you what, he didn't walk. He just covered. It just looked so disjointed. It seemed like he traveled, but he took 2 steps.
Yeah, he wasn't happy.
Yep. But it just seemed so awkward, right?
It was a disjointed drive to the basket.
Yeah, it was like the Euro step without stepping by somebody, right?
Yeah, that may have been you got to keep further east. It's a Middle East step or somewhere further away from Europe. Coleman picks up the foul here. Highlanders had a chance with a finish by Osawe had he not traveled to take the lead for the first time.
Officials talking to Coleman, who's complaining about the fact that he thought it was a carry and a turnover. Just got to keep playing.
Gibson a lot of space. Ballage in the offensive rebound. Hassled by Diakite and eventually fouled by Diakite.
You got to come on up with that one. You had the inside rebounding position. Ryan Kennedy looking for a push in the back. I'm not sure it was there. Needed a push in the front from Diakite with the little box out to create some contact.
Here's my stat for you on Tariq Balogun, who comes up short. With this shot coming up here, Rob, he'll have had 54 free throw attempts, 58 field goal attempts. So this guy operates probably within about a 5-foot radius around the rim, below the rim. A lot of short shots, a lot of foul shots. And
he doesn't try to do what he can't do, right?
Yeah.
Play to your strengths. If you're a rim protector and a guy that can score it at the rim, hang out. Hang out by the rim.
Coleman
That's good.
Opted against the open look, dribbles in, yes.
That's good basketball. Good movement. They ran through stuff. You don't force it. Right, Coleman had a potential 3, but ball fake, got himself an open look, and we're tied for the first time since they put the ball in the air.
Balogun again with Diakite. Takes him in.
Oh, that's a good move. Yep. Diakite, who was really solid defensively first couple of minutes, looks like he's running out of gas.
Balogun had 17, a career high in the opener this season. I mentioned earlier, hadn't scored in the last 2 games, was 0 for 7 from the floor. But he's played well with his opportunities to score tonight. Coleman will try it again. This time short, and then a reach and foul.
And that's not a good foul because now that puts Binghamton to the line. When we come back, media timeout. NJIT clawing their way back in. They've gotten it tied. Now down 2. See if they can get over the hump when we come back. Gotcha. Yes, you are. And the only problem is I didn't listen to one word you said. What did you say we're coming back with? The schedule? It gets a lot harder fast. That's why this one's so important. little.
Highlanders down 2 as we have 7:06 to go in the basketball game, at least in regulation. And you made a comment as we look at the upcoming schedule that, you know, I guess we have this much parity in the league with some teams who historically have had some success. It doesn't get any easier anytime soon.
No, you get this 2-game homestand. You got to try to hold serve here on your home court because then you're up at Bryant, the preseason #2 team, last year's NEC champions, played in the NCAA tournament, and then on the road right back at it against Vermont, last year's America East regular season and tournament champion.
I'd have to look it up. I wonder if the last time the Highlanders played Bryant was when they snapped the nation's longest losing streak years back, when it was at 51 in the infancy of the Division I era for the Highlanders, who ascended very quickly under former head coach Jim Engels, who's up at Columbia with Brian Kennedy, the current coach, as his top assistant. Front end is missed, and Coleman goes up for the rebound, so the Highlanders catch a break there. Three-point play or a three-point field goal away from their first lead today are the Highlanders, who trail by 2. Coleman on the drive-in. Kicks it back out, 9 on the shot clock. Sullivan finds the seam, floats it up and in.
A good patience getting into the lane, not forcing it early.
Balogun couldn't handle on it. Turnover Binghamton, another break for NJIT. He was open. He got behind the defense, but just couldn't corral it cleanly. Sullivan out there running point. Diakite, Gray, Coleman, and Osawe stays out there. Sullivan again, driving, tough shot. May have been some contact. No call was made. And now Petcash, the wrong guy to leave open, but he does not connect here. Gray the rebound, and back and forth we go. Petcash, 16 points, leads all scorers. Had 12 of those in the first half.
Both teams going with a real short rotation, especially here in the second half.
Coleman kicks out, Sullivan for the lead, no good. And that ball will go out of bounds and belong to the Bearcats.
Yeah, Sullivan's open there, but that's not his strength. Just 30% so far this year, and it's funny because last year at Marist he shot it very well from beyond the three-point line, top 5 in the MAC in three-point field goal percentage.
Yeah, I had him at 42.6%, which is an excellent percentage, and there's an excellent finish by an excellent player. All-America East team selection, Jacob Falko, who's been held to 5, but he does have 7 assists and 4 rebounds tonight. Nikite's been wanting the basketball. Kicks it back out as he fell down.
Shot clock down to 5, gotta go.
Osawe with man in air is short. Expecting contact that he never got, and the rebound down to Harid.
2 sluggish offensive possessions last 2 times down for the Highlanders. Credit Binghamton with good defense on the last 2 possessions.
Falco taking a little time as they set it up. Kicks to the corner. Gets it back, fires, and it's an air ball. Rebounded by Osawe, who's got 13. Diakite gave a piggyback ride to Balogun, no call. Osawe lost the handle, but was fortunate to get it back. The Highlanders have had some chances to go ahead, but as you mentioned, the Bearcats have stiffened the last 2 times down. maybe 3. Here's Sullivan, floats it again, got it to go. Sullivan, a couple of big field goals down the stretch here.
A couple floaters in the lane, you got to have that, especially as a smaller guard. Talked about when he tries to finish at the rim, he's not effective. Well, here he's made an adjustment, back-to-back runners, little floater in the lane, and we're back even.
Tied up 56 all. Down the stretch we go. And the Highlanders with 3 in double figures led by Coleman. 14 from Coleman, 13 from Hess, 12 from Osawe. And we will take it to break here with 4:10 to go. All tied up at the WEC.
Yeah, but let's hold on to that here now. Let's not come back with that right now, or do we have to? It's a tie game. It's a tie game, right? Like, you got, you know. Yeah, he hasn't played DeGraff this half and hasn't played McMillan.
Kevin Osawe there right behind Brian Kennedy as they go over some plays here on the sidelines at the WEC. Highlanders and Binghamton Bearcats, and a good one, 56 all. Both teams coming in 1-1, and the Highlanders, after really shooting poorly in the first half, have come back to even out the field goal percentage with Binghamton. As you see, both teams are at 42%. That is because the Highlanders are 14 of 22, 63.6% from the floor here in the second half.
Yeah, you've seen those couple of floaters last 2 possessions as they got dribble penetration into the lane by Raheem Sullivan, able to knock both of those floaters down.
Seton Hall, Brooklyn Nets, Philadelphia Eagles, and the Crusaders.
You didn't seem like you were too happy with that second to last one.
Well, the funny thing is that at one of the breaks, one of the media timeouts, they did a contest on the floor with a guy draped in all kinds of Giants football gear.
You saw him earlier. You told him you liked his gear.
I did.
As your Jints are in the playoffs. My Steelers are sitting home.
Of course, we'll be back here before that kickoff in Minnesota because the Highlanders hosting Albany here at the WEC Saturday night, 7 o'clock on a game for you. America East basketball, of course, presented by our good friends at Jersey Mike's, and we've got a good one here tonight from Newark.
Let's see where Binghamton tries to go on this offensive possession.
Falko too strong on the lob. The Highlanders come away with it. Sullivan feeds. Sullivan throws it down, and the Highlanders lead for the first time.
Well, a missed alley-oop at one end, no miss here on the other end.
Look at the explosiveness of Osawe, who took off from Clinton.
Yeah, and great bounce pass to put it right on the spot by Sullivan. That was too easy.
Such a cool customer. Just takes it in.
He rejected that high screen. Got Sullivan with the great pass, but then he got beat off the dribble by Falko.
Back to tied. Osawe 14 points, 13 rebounds. Monster game. As he has been big off the bench. Hess for 3. In and out, no good. Falko another rebound.
Yeah, that's a good kick out on the double team by Osawe to find the open look.
Pet Cash had an open look. It seemed initially was a little hesitant.
Yeah, good closeout by Coleman, so it wasn't an open look.
Not hesitant here. Ball is loose on the floor, and it comes away to Hareed in the middle of a bunch of white jerseys.
Yeah, he just did a terrific job of wanting it a little bit more and the strength to pull it away.
Diakite's holding his hand a little bit limp, was grimacing a bit. Shot clock down to 4. Falko over Coleman is short, and then Hess trying to fight for the rebound, and Sullivan comes back to collect for NJIT.
Hareed nearly with another hustle play to get an extra possession.
Tied up with 2:18 to go. Highlanders were down by 13 points 5 minutes into the second half. Can they come all the way back and atone for their last home game and the blown 10-point lead against UMass Lowell?
Gotta go. 5 on the shot clock.
Tough look. No good off the back iron, and up for the rebound goes Miles Gibson. Gibson 7 points, 6 rebounds now in his 31 minutes tonight.
Last couple of possessions, they've been able to get Falko in those high ball screens and have been effective. Here they forced a tough matchup for Diakite.
Falko a year ago here in Newark had 20 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists. And here, misfires. Osawe collects rebound 14.
Unable to take advantage of that mismatch. Good timeout by Brian Kennedy. Try and see if they can dictate where the ball's going, get a better offensive possession.
You know, we talked about Binghamton running a short rotation. Brian Kennedy has found success with a combination here in the second half where not a whole lot of substitutions either way, and that timeout probably a good respite for the 5 on the floor.
Yeah, they've only played 6 guys here in the second half. Haven't seen DeGraff nor McMillan here in the second half, but this lineup has been able to come up with stops, made some shots at the other end, have taken that 10-point lead, their 12-point lead at the half, and they've got an opportunity here to try to take a lead late. So obviously, you know that you got a couple of options here offensively. They've been able to pound it inside a little bit and get mismatches, but remember, Diakite, a bad foul shooter, so you don't want to necessarily go there. Probably going to try to get the ball into Coleman's hands, see if they double on him, maybe you kick it out to Hess, but expect them to go with their leading scorer. There was that tough finish by Falko at one end, the great bounce pass ahead by Sullivan, and Osawe made sure there was no doubt about that finish.
You can see Binghamton trust Falko, and why not? He is, again, the only returning all-conference selection. He's only shot 3 of 11 and 1 of 7 from deep, so the Highlanders have gotten a break in that regard, and that Falko has not quite had his scoring knack tonight. But
be
even
careful.
So,
he could be 2 for 8 real quick.
Even so, you can see he's been real comfortable with the ball in his hands down the stretch. He has been patient with the ball in his hands down the stretch. Some of those shots have gone, and some of them will go, but the Highlanders have got to score on their end. They've had a lot of empty possessions since getting this game back tied.
Well, you've said it a couple times. Both teams with short benches, probably a little quicksand out there right now, right? Some tired legs, but now you gotta dig deep and get a good offensive possession. Expect the ball to go through Coleman's hands, but he doesn't have to force it here.
Remember, the Highlanders would have signed up for this when they were down at the half with nothing really falling. Now we're tied with 1:13 to go. About as much as they could ask for. Now can they get over the hill? Sullivan, 4 on the clock. They're going to have to get a 4-shot. Coleman, tough shot. Offensive foul, and another good defensive possession by the men clad in green. Waited a little too long to get things going, and nearly avoided Gibson by shifting right at the last second, but enough contact there to draw the offensive foul. And for Coleman, foul number 3. Highlanders were able to withstand at Maine, winning in overtime in a back-and-forth affair. Nothing for Petcash. They've been much more careful of running him off the line in the second half.
Good job on that high ball screen by Sullivan, but then he's cheating to the high ball screen, and Falko, second time we've seen him reject that ball screen, right? So Sullivan's expecting the screen on his right, so he just starts leaning that way. Falko inside hand change beats him to the spot.
He's a 75% free throw shooter. I will say this, if Sullivan doesn't foul him, nobody came to help defense. He had an easy bucket, easy lane.
Remember, this is still 1-1.
No good. Osawe, no. Harid kept it alive. And it stays with Binghamton. Ronnie Kennedy wants him to look at the clock.
Yeah, because he wants to get a chance to talk to his team here, right? So,
that's a tough break for the
timeout was taken by Binghamton, so they get an opportunity to check it, or maybe they're not even going to look at it.
Mistaken, the clock would only go down to 1, right? It was at 19 when it went out anyway. They are going to look at it to see, but hey, 1 second in this game could be a difference maker.
Oh, absolutely. Right? First to 60, right? I mean, here you go.
Falko again, 75%, doesn't miss a whole lot. Had that 36-point game against Niagara back at the end of December, which was the most by a Binghamton player since Sam Sessions did it against New Hampshire. He scored 38 in a game back in February of 20. So he is capable of lighting it up, and when he misses the front end, you got to get the rebound, right? You have to get that defensive rebound.
Got to get the rebound. They didn't, so an opportunity here for Binghamton. First off, you're going to try and sneak one off the baseline out of bounds, right? Your best baseline out of bounds play you're going to right here. Try to see if you can sneak one. And if you don't, then the ball's going to come on back out, and it's going to be back in Falco's hands.
Watch where Adam Hess touches this ball. Oh, hit his foot. Okay, yeah, hit his foot. Good call. Because when I didn't see the foot, I thought, well, maybe by the time he got to the ball and tapped it back in, it was already out of bounds off Binghamton, but it certainly got his top of his foot as he kind of shoot at it.
Either way. So let's see where they go here on the baseline out of bounds. If they don't get an initial score off of it, they're going to get it back into Falco's hands and play from there, I suspect.
Ramon Harid. Gibson working on Osawe. Diakite comes in to help, no good. The Bearcats looking at getting another offensive rebound, another crack at it with a foul on Raheem Sullivan.
That's a good call. Second time you see the great rotation over there. You see Sullivan come on in and get the foul. He's got to get in there a little bit quicker. Diakite came over to try and get the block shot. When he doesn't get it, there's nobody on the weak side for the rebound. So you want him to come on over and be aggressive, but if you come too far, that's what you get, the weak side rebound.
Binghamton back in front. Islanders have a +1 rebounding advantage for the game, but you think back to these last couple of possessions, and Binghamton has been able to get some second and third opportunities at it. And here they cash in with a point. And now we're going to get a stoppage again. Brian Kennedy is not happy. Having some words with the officiating team as they look at the monitor.
Officials looking at something. I am not sure what they are looking at. I guess to see if they had the right shooter on the line.
Well, Gibson stepped up, made the first free throw. Okay, so it was the wrong shooter. That was correct. They corrected it out. And instead of it being Gibson, it's going to be Tavian White, who's only a 54% free throw shooter as compared to the 80% of Miles Gibson. Erase the point, we're back tied. And now you get Tavian White for some big free throw shooting right here with 30.4 seconds to go in a tie game.
So they got it right. At the end of the day, that's the most important thing. Right guys on the line.
White come through on the first shot. Yes, 1-point lead. He's been at Clarendon College. Spent time at IUPUI.
So remember, the last couple of possessions, NJIT hasn't been able to rebound the basketball. The reason why they're down 1 is they missed 3 consecutive rebounds.
Make it 4 consecutive rebounds.
He got away with the walk potentially, but that's exactly what we're talking about. Now you got to.
And now Hess called for the foul on Falko with 23.6 to go.
We're just talking about it. So if we're talking about it sitting over here, everybody else in the building knows it. 4 consecutive. You got Diakite out there. You got Asawe. Asawe's got, double-double. He's got 14 rebounds. Well, he needed his 15th on any of those last 4 offensive rebounds that Binghamton's been able to collect.
This time Falko connects. 2-point game.
Well, that's just effort, right? You got inside rebounding position. You got 2 of the better rebounders in the league. Just cannot allow a rebound on a missed foul shot. They've allowed 2.
And now it's a 3-point game. Islanders now will operate.
Still enough time. You can get the 2 in the quick timeout, but you got to go quickly.
That's what Brian Kennedy wants, and then they're going to call Falko for the foul. Binghamton with 1 more to give. That's number 6.
That might have helped NJIT because they were not getting going. Again, NJIT dejected, heads down. You got to come make a play. It's either a quick 2 and timeout, or if you obviously can find an open 3, you'll take it.
Sullivan accelerating. Sullivan held. Now he will go to the line, held by Petcash. 12.3 seconds to go. And again, you made a point earlier on a foul he committed, didn't seem to make a play on the ball. That time just wrapped up and hog-tied.
Yeah,
was turning the
didn't
corner.
make much of a play, but remember, there's no such thing as an intentional foul. Yeah, they intentionally fouled him there, but that's not the call.
Got to make a play on the ball.
But now what you got to do is you got to go make the 2 foul shots and be right up in full court pressure.
Sullivan, a 59% free throw shooter.
Remember, it's a 1-and-1.
Sawe kept it alive. Now it's the Highlanders with an offensive rebound. Coleman for a game-tying 3. No good. Hess the rebound. Hess kicks out 1 more chance for the Highlanders. At Sullivan at the buzzer. Got it! Got it! Got it! We're tied at 61. Here's the heave. We're going overtime for the 2nd consecutive game for NJIT. Wow.
Well, just the way they drew it up. Missed the foul shot. Right, we talked about the fact that NJIT didn't clean things up with offensive rebounds. How about Adam Hess with the offensive rebound? And great play by Coleman not to force it. He had a guy running at him, able to find a wide open look from 3, and how about that? Get an extra 5.
Wow.
How about that? Huh? Neither team able to rebound the basketball.
Isn't that crazy? The only reason why the Highlanders could have won this game easier is they couldn't make a rebound on 4 or 5 consecutive chances. Binghamton wins the game. They have a chance there, a couple of rebounds.
Yep.
Game's over. They get 1 rebound.
Both teams have 10 and 11 offensive rebounds. I think half of those are in the last 3 possessions. Here's a miss, offensive rebound by Hess. Remember, that was after an offensive rebound off the missed foul shot, and able to hit it with 0.5 on the clock.
What you said, and it was more evident on that replay, getting the floor cam view, another great shot by our team tonight, was Coleman, because he could have forced it thinking, well, I got a buzzer beater, I better take it. It would have been a bad shot in the corner, 2 guys running out at him. And, sometimes we say, well, Coleman will get his fair share of shots. But when the time dictated, Coleman being unselfish with the basketball, boy, did he make the right play, and Sullivan made it look good by connecting on it. But again, you saw that replay angle, and it was certainly a great look that Coleman would have been forcing a shot probably that would have had a 5% chance of going up at most.
Yep, make the extra pass, take what the defense gives you, get a chance to play another 5 minutes.
Just as they drew it up, of course, naturally, As Rob Kennedy so eloquently stated moments after the ball found the bottom of the net out of the hands of Raheem Sullivan, who now has 7 for the game.
Remember, both these teams, a lot of guys out there with a lot of minutes logging here so far, so you're going to have to dig deep.
The curious thing for me, and I'll get your reaction, but both teams have basically played the same 5 guys now for the last just plethora of minutes. there's been no Mekhi Gray. He had the dunk, got teed up,
and then he came back
briefly.
in. Yep.
And he's, known as being probably the best on-the-ball defender that NJIT has. So you would think, okay, well, maybe in a game like this, he would be on the floor down the stretch. But Brian Kennedy has found a combination here, and he has not wavered from it, much like Lavelle Sanders has kept his 5 on the floor. And these guys, they're going to get that shower is going to feel real good after the game, but a lot better if they hold on for a win, whoever that might be. So here we are in overtime for the Highlanders. Back-to-back games. They just won in Maine. Tough shot. Gibson short. Osawe with energy after the break has the rebound.
Talk about snatching rebounds. Continues to build on that double-double with 14 points and now 15 rebounds.
Second overtime game for the Highlanders this season. The Maine game was the only overtime game they've played. And here's Coleman. No. Diakite kept it alive. It's out of bounds off one of the heads of the Bearcats, and the Highlanders keep possession. And
that was a deep three, but that was an open three. And I'll tell you what, that was right on target from where you and I were sitting. That one looked good.
But again, neither team able to get that big defensive rebound. And that was a good job by Diakite to keep it alive. Osawe's had a monster game. Works in. Osawe just beasting here tonight.
Yep, just doing what he does well. Get himself to the rim and finish.
And I want you to see here, he's now 7 of 10 from the floor, all from two-point territory, where he does his best offensive work.
Early in the season, he was forcing threes. He's not taking one three in the last 4 games. Instead, playing to his strengths. Gotta like it.
First overtime game for Binghamton. Quick look at the game notes. Falko was patient, able to tie it up.
That was great on the ball defense by Sullivan. Didn't matter.
Yeah. Just how in control Jacob Falko is with his game. And it's not just when he shoots out. He can control dribbling, he can control on defense, he can control rebounding. He's a really nice player. Coleman adjusts, banks it in, and one. Miles Coleman, a big basket down here in overtime.
Yeah, and certainly he leans in and creates the contact, but this is a good call. See Falco getting there late. And listen, they tell you as an official, don't blow the whistle too early. You're better off with the late whistle than a quick whistle. I like that.
So does Brian Kennedy right now, but a lot of work to be done as Coleman steps to the line. And he now has a team high and game high 17 points. He's got 17. His teammate Osawe 16, as does Dan Petcash, who's now playing with 4 fouls, has been, and has only had 4 of his 16 points since the break. 3 to go here from Newark. It's been a terrific game. Gibson nearly lost the handle, picked it back up, another bounce, no call. Good defense by Osawe. Shot clock to 5. Hareed lost the handle. Foul on Coleman.
Well played, great defense for 28 seconds of the shot clock.
Hareed, 8 points on 4 of 6 shooting, has 8 rebounds as well, make it 9 points. 2-point game. Coleman, by the way, there picking up foul number 4, so
gotta be careful.
More significance for the guy that leads this team in scoring and has had big games down the stretch like he did in Maine. Coming into this thing as the 7th leading scorer in the America East and the reigning AE Player of the Week. To make it a 1-point game, yes. Hareed's fun to watch. He has a lot. Talk about energy.
Yeah, plays
right?
hard. You know, talk about a coach's son.
He's been all over the place. He has not wavered in his intensity since the moment this game started. It's fun to watch. Hess taking it to Petcash, who has 4 fouls, and then fades away. Splash out of Hess, a big basket.
Dirk Nowitzki would like that one. That was a tough shot by Hess.
Oh, he's got 15 again. He had 15 in Maine. He's been in double figures now in 4 of his last 5 games.
And you can tell both these teams are gassed here right now.
Petcash will launch. No. Long rebound. Stays with Binghamton.
I think they're going to take a look at it because it's under 2, but I think they're right. I think that one is going to be Binghamton's basketball. Here was Hess, nothing going. Remember, that was late in the shot clock, down to single digits. He was looking for somebody to kick it out to. Instead, kicked it right into the goal.
Dirk Nowitzki-esque. I love it.
Yeah.
So the Highlanders with a 3-point lead. Binghamton another crack at it. The Highlanders again Saturday at Albany at 7, or here against Albany 7 o'clock. Meanwhile, Binghamton is going to have it tough as well. They've got the short turnaround. They have the Saturday 2 o'clock game against the team that very early on sits atop the American East in UMass Lowell. And in fairness to UMass Lowell, yeah, it's early in the American East schedule, but this is the team that had a very good non-conference slate. In fact, when they played here just last home game for the Highlanders on the 31st, they were in the top 100 in both the Ken Pomeroy rankings and, of course, the early NCAA net rankings. So not an easy turnaround for Binghamton. What's amazing about this game is how many extra opportunities, as we keep saying, the teams are getting. Petcash, who's looking a little bit tired, didn't quite have the same type of liftoff there as he saw in the first half, but the Highlanders unable to come away with the rebound, or so it appears.
It appears that it was off of Osawe's shoulder, hand. Didn't get a good enough look to see whether or not it deflected off him to a Binghamton player. You know, it's an air ball, so it's coming off, you know, you're not expecting that, right? You're waiting for it to come off the rim. Instead, it kind of fires at you.
Here's a ground floor
Get a little better look, slow it down. Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's off Osawa.
Yeah.
And that's what they call.
Yeah, the hope for the Highlanders there is that maybe it grazed off of Gibson, but on that angle there, it didn't appear as such.
And again, they've got the in-building monitors that have some different looks, so that's what they're looking at. But I always think when you're going over, if you can't see definitively in the first couple of seconds, right? Maybe 30 seconds, whatever it is. We got to figure out a way for the game to move on, right? Yep, so they had to do 2 things there. So remember, it didn't hit the rim. We talked about that. So they had reset the shot clock, so they get the shot clock where it needs to be. 11 seconds.
So again, the Bearcats a chance to carve, if not tie, if they hit from distance. Sullivan had to pick up on Tavian White, so now Diakite's on Falko, but the shot clock just expired. They had the mismatch of speed versus size.
Now remember, when they went to the timeout, Falko probably looked up, saw there were 20 seconds. Remember, on the review, they got it back down to 11. Might have been a little miscommunication, or he didn't hear the coaching staff tell him that.
You're 100% right, Rob, because he just turned to Tavion White, and Tavion put up 11, you know, one finger in each hand, and he goes, oh, and he just looked like just a look of disbelief. And look at this, an offensive foul. And no team can quite get any distance from the other here as we have played down the stretch in the second half and now into overtime. First foul on Osawe, away from the ball, way away from the ball.
That whether he's right or not, you just don't need to, you know.
Ball was still in the backcourt.
Yeah.
Here's Falko again. Falko working in, yes.
That's huge, right? NJIT's got the ball up by 3. Now, if you're Osawe, you can't be pushing off there, even if you think that you're open. But goodness gracious, you know, time and score for players, there's time and score for referees as well.
Osawe. Tough shot.
Oh,
Osawe!
Wow. Oh, wow. No way, Osawe. He makes up for the offensive foul with a tough runner in the lane.
18 points, 15 rebounds, and a monster performance off the bench. And Hess nearly picked the pocket of Falko, who got it back. So far, disjointed possession. Petcash Up to her read, and now Lavelle Sanders wants to take the timeout.
He thought it was disjointed too, and so that's a good call by the sideline. It was. Sullivan almost able to come up with the ball. And here's this tough matchup by Osawe.
You know where he got that shot from?
No.
Miles Coleman.
Oh, there you go.
He took that from the bag of tricks, toted it over the shoulder of big number 5 for the Highlanders with that finish. I mean, falling away from the basket, not squaring up, the one-hander over a defender. But when you're feeling it like Osawe is tonight, now 8 for 11 from the floor, with the type of numbers he's put up and the effort that he has given Brian Kennedy in those 34 minutes off the bench, in what has essentially been a 6-man game for the Highlanders, pretty remarkable.
So here, both teams coming out of the timeout. Good timeout by Lavelle Sanders, realizing that nothing was going offensively. Gives you plenty of time. You got 9 seconds left to find a good shot. And then what they've done well, if they haven't been able to execute, what do? They go get it on the offensive glass. So if you're NJIT on the other side, you got to defend and finish, right? You got to finish possessions by rebounding the basketball.
So are you wondering, well, is 15 rebounds a career high? If you're wondering if it's a career high for Kevin Osawe, well, it's not even a season high, because he had that 21.17 rebound game here on the 27th. So no, it's not a career high, but here against Binghamton, an America East Conference foe, putting up a game like this. I mean, I don't know if he's going to stay a 6th man, but he's going to put himself as a front runner for the 6th Man of the Year award, or if there even is one. Pet Cash, short shot clock. Spinning, falling, but able to finish. 18 for Pet Cash, and those 2 are huge. And they foul Sullivan, who again is a sub 60% free throw shooter. Big
and
one-and-one opportunity.
Yep.
Big
so Sullivan just kind of caught the basketball and just kind of held on to it, wanting to get fouled. All right, good. I like to see that, as long as you now go finish them. You're right. You want the ball in your hand to go make foul shots. Now go make them.
Yep. And he's made a couple of big field goals down the stretch, a couple of floaters in the final 5 minutes that were huge in a game that would eventually be tied at .5 on a 3-ball from the same man, Raheem Sullivan. Yes. So the grad student, who played more previously for 2 years at Marist, comes to the Brick City by way of Toronto, Ontario. Started very slow today, had 0 points into the second half, now has 8. And they have been 8 as big points as you could have in a game, all down the stretch, including the game tying. Diakite nearly kept it alive. 2-point game, shot clock off, 27 to go. And they got to play defense here for the final 20 seconds. So far, so good. Sullivan, Falko having a battle royale to Petcash for the lead. Yes, he's got it with 11 to go. Petcash. 10 seconds, 1-point game. Timeout, Highlanders with the ball. In what was a big 3 for Petcash after he had been silent for quite some time.
You see everybody collapsing on Falco. 3 white jerseys trying to keep him out of the lane, but they forget about Petcash, who's wide open in the corner.
21 now for Petcash. 5 of 11 from downtown. He has half of his entire season's production of 3-point field goals here today. You mentioned that earlier.
You know, it's your first reaction to run the basketball. But again, time and score. When you're up by 2, hang with the guy. You can't overhelp. You got to stay with the guy out at the 3-point line. If Falco hits that in the lane, it's a tie game, and you've got the ball. Now you find yourself down by 1 with 8.7 seconds left. You got to be able to make those foul shots late in the game. They made 1 out of 2.
The good news is, again, if you're a Highlander fan, 19 fouls on Binghamton. So if there is a foul and it's a non-shooting foul, you'll now increase to 2 shots. 1 obviously to tie, 2 to take a lead if that's the case. But that's just looking ahead. Here's Sullivan with the basketball in his hands. Down to 5. Sullivan sees a crease. Sullivan lost the handle. No foul call. Binghamton has it. And the